Hello, I am Jason Drillard with EDL 855 Module 1. So just to kind of tell you a little bit about me, I'm originally from Manhattan, Kansas. I graduated from Bethany College in Lindsborg, Kansas. I have a wife. Her name is Miranda. She's at the bottom left corner with me. Right there in the middle, that's our daughter, Layton. She's now just over 4 months. That's our first child as well. And then we have Zeke and Nash on the right side. Those are our two Shepskis. They're from the same parents, different litters, but they look a little bit different. One's more of the Husky, one's more of the German Shepherd. So they always keep us on our toes. I'm in my third year of teaching. I am a seventh grade English teacher. I just moved to back to Lindsborg. Actually, I was fortunate enough to get a job back in Lindsborg, especially because graduated from Bethany College. I fell in love with Lindsborg and really wanted to get back there and kind of start our roots up there as a family. And I was able to get a position there. I'm also the head girls basketball coach at the middle school. This the team on the top right. That's our team this year. We had a really good season. Made it to the championship. Fell a little short, but it was just a phenomenal year with a really great group of kids that are a lot of fun to coach and interact with. And then next year I'll also be coaching football, be the head football coach. So busy times, but there are also exciting times and a lot of fun. When it comes to mindsets, I agreed with all of them. All students can learn. That's definitely something that I agree with, mainly because if you take the time to figure out how they learn and what motivates them to learn, what they want to learn about, you can really change their perception about school. Even just showing any type of interest in them really helps a lot of kids. So my thought is not to think about whether they can or cannot learn, but how can we help them learn? Teacher collaboration over isolation. I do agree with this mostly. I say mostly because sometimes I think too much collaboration doesn't allow us to kind of just relax, and sometimes we need that time alone to work. Just because if we don't, we spend all of our time outside of work doing the things we could do. But definitely teacher collaboration is always good. I especially like collaborating, just getting ideas from others. And then happiness and optimism. To me, coming from Smoky Valley is the second school I've taught at. I taught at a previous school, and I wasn't always happy in the environment. wasn't always very happy and optimistic. So going to a new school and kind of having that environment has really changed not only how the way I feel about school, but being an educator and just the overall environment and the culture is different, and that definitely uh, has a huge effect on not only your mind, but as a teacher and your motivation when you feel the happiness and the optimism in the environment. Then yeah, you're definitely more suited for success as a teacher, and also kind of helping students reach their full success. So those three mindsets have a huge impact on you as a teacher, but also as the building leader. Dispositions, confidence. I To me, all of these I agree with, but I think confidence is definitely the one you have to start with. If you don't have confidence, and if others don't see you as confident, especially in the leadership role, then they start to perhaps question you. And then also being a risk taker and being decisive with those decisions. Just because if you take a risk, you don't want it to kind of be up in the air whether you're questioning it yourself. Take the risk and be decisive about it. In all your decisions, be decisive. And don't kind of second guess yourself, or you do want to take calculated risks. Not something you just kind of shoot out in left field and hope for the best, but definitely calculated. And then sense of humor, with especially just the way that society's kind of at these days. People don't always don't always try to use humor and they take things a little bit too seriously. So I think at times being humorous and just being able to kind of joke around with the faculty and the kids really does help. And having the ability to joke around with your building leader and having that sense of humor really helps, and it just kind of lightens the mood. Empathetical, uh, empathetically assertive. Having that understanding of others, but being also assertive. You don't necessarily want to come down on somebody and kind of be a jerk, but you do need to assert yourself as a leader, and you need to do it in the right way. There is a good way to put your foot down, but at the same time, you want to find that right balance between being assertive and not crossing the line to be a jerk. And then a learner, you never want to have a fixed mindset. You want that desire to continuously learn. You can learn from others, especially if you're the leader. You can learn from teachers. You need to, even though that you are the boss. They can teach you a lot. You can learn a lot from the kids. I think as a teacher, I've learned more from the kids than I have anybody else. Just understanding kind of what makes them tick, and being able to work with them. For practices, definitely focuses and prioritizing for sure. I had taken a previous class where one of the biggest things or biggest tasks for a building leader is prioritizing, and sometimes that list changes, and that's okay. And sometimes there are things that are top priority, and that's fine. But making sure that you are addressing those priorities and taking care of them first before, because if you don't prioritize, then some things take a backseat that you're not supposed to drop in the back. So also feedback and data, as just from a perspective as a teacher, data can be so helpful. And I know sometimes it might add a little bit extra work, but understanding how data can really help change us and allow us to grow really is something we got to take more seriously, or at least something I need to incorporate more. And understanding that it's only there to help you. Numbers don't lie. So the more that you can use your data and examine it and then use that for feedback is good. And then emotional intelligence, absolutely. Just emotions play a big part in every day, whether it's understanding that emotions do to play a role, and knowing how to deal with them, and I guess address them at times. I agreed with all of the principles and all the 8. The one that I thought just if I could put one above all the rest, to me it's the inclusiveness at the very bottom. Understanding that everybody in the building plays a huge role, and it's not just one person above all the rest. That even what people might say, the low guy on the totem pole, that they play a huge role. So inclusiveness, but I also really liked recognizing talent. I came from a district that there was a lot of talent as teachers, and they left because you have to understand that you need to keep the talent that's there. You need to do the things that you do have to take care of the talent. So, when there's somebody that's not stepping up and take care of business, then yeah, you got to address them. But you also have to take care of those that are doing very good, and whether that's asking them what they want or just making sure that they're happy, whatever it might be. But I think recognizing talent's a huge one. And then task and employee centeredness. I think at times I've seen districts go too far into trying to keep parents happy and not understanding that, yeah, they play a good role in the school, but ultimately, as a school, your priority is student success. And then those that play a direct line in that are definitely the employees. So I think, you don't want to get away from being task oriented and then also employee centeredness. So also, being able to demonstrate self-control, self-discipline, and integrity is huge. That's kind of, I think, as a building principal, you have to kind of set the standard for yourself if you're going to set it for others. So what you want to see from your employees, make sure that you're also expecting the same thing from yourself. And then sensitivity and understanding. you're not always going to see eye to eye with others, and they may not always love what you're doing, but as long as you are sensitive in the approach, and you at least hear them out and have some type of understanding, then usually everything comes out all right. So to me, I think the understanding part is huge. Listening to them, understanding where they're coming from, but then also taking that sensitivity to know how to address it. My own personal thoughts, to kind of help me looking at all those, yeah, I want to absolutely incorporate all of them. Can that happen all at once? No. So, kind of my personal plan or goal for myself is pick one and slowly develop good habits when it comes to that area. So, if it's trying to develop self control or in discipline and integrity, then I'm going to consciously make efforts every single day, because you keep doing that over and over again, it becomes a habit, and so you don't have to you don't have to no longer have to work on that consciously. It just becomes a habit, and you do it subconsciously. So I think finding a little bit of areas in those that I can look to do every single day, develop those habits, I think can kind of push me and grow me as a professional. Also, just with that, and over time, it's going to just help me become a more well-rounded professional, especially a building leader, somebody that everybody can look up to and know that I'm doing everything I can to improve myself before I expect others to improve for me. But making those conscious efforts to just grow as a professional, I think, and kind of knowing where to start with is huge. So all those areas that were pointed out in the research, I think, are stuff that you got to take seriously, but just make conscious efforts to address over time, and not try to overload yourself all at once. And then the support for student adult success, it does start at the top with the principal. There's no doubt about that. And then also showing support to others. You've got a big responsibility as the building leader, but the biggest and probably the best thing you can do is just showing support to others, whether it's a simple pat on the back and say, hey, I love what you're doing here, or hey, I've got your back here. You're doing fine. I'll make sure that you're supported, and they don't take this the wrong way, or whatever it may be. But again, providing a quality leader, you do those little things, you create those habits every single day, and suddenly you're doing them without having to think, and everybody sees these little tiny things that you're doing here and there that make a big difference to every single day. And those areas of research are really the blueprint for areas of focus and growth. And so by just kind of centering your focus on those and incorporating them into your daily practices, again, because you're starting at the top with the building leader, you begin to create that environment that's conducive to learning and student success, which ultimately, when the students become successful, the adults and the professionals become successful. So I want to thank you for taking the time to just listen and viewing. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.